So the first thing I want to talk about is the Laverne Police Department. 5 officers that was engaging in some activities on duty. There was one female officer, and then there were 4 male officers. The female officer, she is married. Some of the males are married as well. They were having like threesomes, orgies, escapades, enjoying themselves a little bit too much at work. I think they was exchanging nude photos, so she was sending them, they were sending them. And then they were at this Girls Gone Wild party, which is just one of the parties that they've had. And some of the officers were like throwing these parties. So she had taken off her blouse at one of the parties, showing her boobs. Either way, an anonymous tip came in to the mayor's office. They did an investigation and they all lied about it. So they got them for lying as well. Now, I don't know if they had some type of footage. I don't know how they proved this. They had the body cams. I don't know.
Party police. I ain't mad with them. Hey, it could be a monotonous job sometimes. You got to spice it up.
Stress relief. But the chief of police said they still got enough officers on duty. Their city is still safe. So don't think that this is stopping them from protecting the public, okay?
Oh, yeah, he's down with it. But
no,
man,
they fired them. They fired the female with plus the 4 males. Then they suspended people. Some people say 2, some people say 3 other officers.
Just one incident then. It wasn't.
No. It was several.
So somebody told on the ring.
Yeah.
They let the wrong person in, man. You can't let nobody rat out. We can't. The party must go on. You can't get ratted out, man. Nah. They had a good thing going there too. You need that stress relief, man, as a police officer. You know, you got people being disrespected, and where was this at?
Laverne, Tennessee. My thing is, and me and Kia was kind of talking about this last week. Either stay single or stay faithful, but stop embarrassing your spouse.
Yeah, that's rough there. That's a rough one there. And then like, so they had 4 men and 1 woman involved.
Yeah, in the orgy. Mm-hmm.
You know what that was, right?
A train.
Yes, that's right. You do know what a train is, don't you?
Hey, the chief of police said they're gonna retrain everybody. He's just gonna offer a little more retraining.
Ethics, maybe. Yeah. I can see where more training is needed. This is my favorite police department in the world. I love Laverne. Hey, it's all love, Laverne. God bless Laverne, Tennessee, and its citizens. Boy,
he said the citizens are fine. The citizens are fine. All right, so I want to talk about Deion Sanders. We talked about him last week, and we kind of talked about how some of the Black community felt like he was basically a sellout for taking all this extra money going up to Colorado. So he hosted this dinner for recruits, and he got Johnny T, which is a restaurant from Jackson, Mississippi, brought him and his entire staff up to Colorado to host a dinner for the recruits. When Kia and I was talking last week, I was telling her if he still has like a heart for Jackson State, he's going to still continue to invest in some form of fashion because that's a lot of money that he gave back to Johnny T's. So just give me the rundown on your thoughts on that whole situation.
A man got a right to work wherever he wants to work. He has to make the best decision for him and his family. Because best believe if he'd have come up and he didn't win, they would have fired his ass. He elevated Jackson State in the time he was there. He did his job. That's what he's supposed to do. Coaching is a carousel, you know what I mean? It's like if you work at Walmart and Target start looking at you and they come in and tell you they can pay you $2 more an hour, you're going to be wearing a red shirt and khaki pants.
And will.
Yeah. And I think only people that are so critical are Black people, man. This man made a move, which is well within his rights. He put the program in a much better position than they were. They have eyes on him now. He has a right to change jobs, you know? I mean, think about it. And you look at what the salary difference, he gave half of his salary, up while he was at Jackson State. And they are paying him like 17 times more to go to Colorado. So I'm all for it. I think it's great that he's doing that he's able to do that for himself and his family. We always putting people down. It ain't his job to stay at Jackson State for 30 years. It ain't like he worked for the state and he trying to retire. It's a coaching job. It's a carousel. And if he took a black-owned business up there and put money in their pocket, that just show you he a good dude, man. You can aim for so many ways to make chicken wings. And I'm pretty sure they make them in Colorado the same way they make them everywhere else.
Johnny T's had some greens. They had some collard greens. They had some collard greens and cornbread. They brought the Southern cuisine. They did have some wings, though.
Oh, you know they did. Now, they brought them wings. But, I mean, they did great things, put them in a great position. I'm not mad at him at all, man. People need to stop that. We want to condemn this man because he took another job. We got applications in all over Indeed. As soon as somebody call me back, I'm getting up out of here. I'm taking this job.
Nah. Listen, I'm waiting for somebody to call me. I'm looking for a job. Okay, so let's talk about Takeoff. You know, a lot of people have been saying that's an inside job. A lot of people talk about, you know, selling your soul in Hollywood. And I was talking to Kia last week about the Messi video and how it has like so many different, I guess, coincidences in it. And in one part I didn't recognize or realize is there's a RIP kind of hanging on the wall right beside him. And then there's another scene where Quavo is in the elevator. And at the bottom of the elevator, it was like 2:39 or something like that. Takeoff got shot around 2:30. But people are saying that, you know, there was something going on with their contract. And hey, if he's gone, there's no Migos. And that means there's no Migos contract. So what's your take on that?
Definitely a tragedy. Now, as far as selling souls and all this other stuff, I ain't sure. I'm not certain, you know, the magnitude of the soul selling or who's promised what. It is some soul selling going on, you know, in the entertainment industry and sports. I don't know if this situation is possible, but I just hate that it was a tragic instance like that, man. And then when they never have a clear cut answer to what's going on, you know what I mean? All this technology we have, we cannot have a clear cut answer as to who did it, why, motive, and things like that. So it's terrible tragedy. Terrible tragedy.
I was saying last week that they arrested this guy, and this guy supposedly didn't have a full-time job. He was working as a DJ in nightclubs, but he was still living with his parents. And his dad was just like, he's financially unstable, and he doesn't have money yet. When they found him, he had a large sum of money, you know, on him, and he had an expedited passport to go to Mexico. And so I was saying that for someone who was struggling financially or still live with their parents, that might be some motivation to get a gig. If somebody say, hey, I got a job for you, it's worth X amount of dollars.
Yeah. Don't nobody tell their parents all their business anyway. His parents didn't know everything he was doing.
This is true.
He could have been selling dope, you know what I mean, and got that money. But I didn't know all that information about it. I just hate that a young man lost his life. If we look at some of our other people that were taken away from us early, I just use Michael Jackson and Prince as an example. It's always about some type of money. You remember when Prince put the symbol on his face on the album and said he was using the symbol and not his name no more? He was trying to get his masters. And Michael Jackson had a big thing where he had Sony in the back pocket. He owned the Beatles masters and a lot of other stuff. You mean to tell me all this money and fame that these guys have and they end up dying the same way? Right after they get their masters, they end up dying of a drug overdose mysteriously. Mm-hmm. Prince was at the Lakers game and he walked down the aisle and looked amazing, and that like went viral. So you mean to tell me 2-3 months later, he's at Walgreens struggling for painkillers?
Funny you say that, because let's move it to Kanye West. So everybody's talking about how crazy Kanye is. Basically, in the end, he said, no, I set y'all up because you were playing with my money. You was freezing my bank accounts. They froze like $75 million in his 4 bank accounts. And so he was saying, I had to start saying things that make y'all don't want to have anything to do with me. Y'all going to cancel the contracts and I'm scot-free. Versus if I cancel them on my own, now you're going to get me for breach of contract. Now I'm going to owe you more money. But if you cancel the contract with me, I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. I think they did unfreeze his account because he had to pay the $200K to Kim for child support. But he kept saying they were trying to medically overdose me and medically diagnose me. So this guy named Harley Pasternak, that was his trainer. So him and this guy kind of get into the situation, and Kanye was just like, I'm not taking this medicine. You misdiagnosed me. And I'm not going to end up like Prince and Michael Jackson, specifically what he said. Kanye posted the text message from the guy, and he said, I'll have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. And so, and it says that this is the same guy that actually called the police on Kanye before they had him institutionalized. So Kanye is just like, they're always saying we're crazy, but behind the scenes, they're trying to like overdose us. But Orlando Brown, that used to be on That's So Raven, and a lady named Jaguar Wright have really been speaking out a lot on Hollywood and in the things that you have to do kind of behind the scenes to make it.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll let you talk on that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Kanye he's far out there, but I think on this one, I think he's dead on with this one. He's examined the ins and outs of it, and he found a way to get out of it contractually. They're going to end up having to pay him eventually. Still got his designs and things of that nature that they're probably going to end up having to pay him for. I think he's eccentric. I think he goes, too far in some regards, but I don't think he's crazy at all. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because the medication thing too is the same thing that somebody was telling me about the Elvis movie. I haven't seen it yet. People kept him on all kind of drugs too to keep him working. So I definitely believe that, man. I never wanted no Yeezys, but I shop at TJ Maxx and Ross, so hopefully they'll go on clearance and I'll be able to give me a pair.
Yeah, they'll be there. They'll be there. You'll be able to get the discount.
If I can get something for $20, I'm all for that.
You can now.
I bought some Kyrie's at the Nike outlet for like $40. So I feel real good about that. But so you can't say nothing about Jewish people. Anything you say about them is anti-Semitic.
And I think what he said was when he wake up, he's going to release the DEFCON 3 on the Jewish people. And then he said, but the funny thing is that I can't be anti-Semitic because Black people are Jews. This was right after he wore the White Lives Matter t-shirt. But like I said, going back to Kanye, he's saying, hey, it was all a game for me. If I said all of this crazy stuff, you guys would break your contract. And they did. And they did.